So word on the street is the Nintendo Direct is just around the corner, very likely on Thursday. In fact, it might have been already announced by the time people are actually watching this. In any case, that's not going to stop us from talking about our predictions for it, because obviously it's going to be Switch 2 focused at the least, with likely an emphasis on products in the next year, or rather for the rest of the year, but probably beyond that too. So I want to talk about what we are hoping and expecting for, and to do so, I've brought on Don, Nick, and Zach to give our predictions and expectations for what's going to happen in this Nintendo Direct. So before we get to it, I do want to go over real quick that there's still a lot about the Switch 2 we currently know. Like, there are a lot of games or updates still coming out for the year, including Drag X Drive in just a couple of weeks, Kirby Air Riders sometime, presumably, this year, Metroid Prime 4, same thing there. We also have Kirby the Forgotten Land not long after Drag X Drive, and then also Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment coming up sometime this winter, which likely is this year, though not a definitive thing. So, how much of this Direct is going to be focused on what we know versus what we don't?
That's the major question, right? Like, how much do they really want to focus on the stuff we know? I mean, we're not going to get much about Pokemon, I feel, because they've had a lot of emphasis over the last few months on
we just had to
Pokemon
present.
ZA, but also the trailer before that and a few other bits and bobs here and there. So I don't necessarily think there's that. I don't know how much there's really to say about Metroid Prime 4 specifically, or how much they want to keep like in the back of their pocket until closer to launch. Because
that's
it feels,
thing.
Yeah.
It could be close to launch. We don't know, right? It could be coming out in like September, and that's just around the corner.
Yeah, according to Europe, it was already out, right? Like that billboard said it was already out.
UK,
right.
Yeah.
Have we all beaten it by now?
But yeah, those are gone. And then the others, I feel we know about those way less than we do about those two specifically. Because it hasn't been, I mean, it feels ages, but it hasn't been long since they both got like dedicated sections in the presentation in March.
Right.
But there still might be new details on specifically Metroid, but I still feel there's so much unknown about the other projects. Even Kirby and the Forgotten Land, that DLC to an extent, feel next to nothing outside of the levels that were in that demo.
I played at the Switch 2 event, and I still don't really quite know what's fully happening in that game. So there's a lot for them to... In fact, both Kirbys are largely a mystery. Kirby Air Riders in particular, we literally know nothing about, except that Kirby and three other characters are in it. And I think that's where a lot of attention could go. Obviously not, most of the time, but it could have like a dedicated segment to that game. Because if it's still due out this year, they need to start promoting it, and this would be a perfect opportunity to start telling us more about this game. At the same time, though, I think Metroid Prime 4, even though we've seen like a decent amount of that game and it was playable too, I still feel like there's a lot they're holding on to there, and I think they really need to start ramping up promotion for that game too. Regardless, whenever it actually does end up coming out, assuming it's still on track for this year, which it seems to be based on the recent ESRB rating. It's got. I think they really have to show off something like big and exciting about this game. But I think right now they've really sold it to the the typical Metroid fans, but they really need to kind of broaden it and like show everyone else like, hey, here's why you should play this game. Like, it wasn't until I played the game at a Switch 2 event that I'm like, okay, I really like this game for what it is so far. But at the same time, like, there's still a lot more that they can show off, I imagine. So.
Yeah, they need that second trailer that Nintendo is usually known for, right? Like, when we first saw Donkey Kong, it's like, this looks awesome. But honestly, when you played it, you're like, I'm not sold on this. But then we saw the Direct, like, okay, I'm on board. Like, I'm totally in. So that's what we need to see here for Metroid Prime 4. It's like you said, like, everyone in that's a Metroid fan, they're already sold. But everyone else, it's like, why am I going to pick this up?
Yeah. The only thing I will say against that, though, it had already more than 2 trailers. Like, it's had already 3. Yeah. And I still feel like I'm waiting for that next gear for Metroid Prime 4.
Right.
Like, with the trailer in March, and we discussed this back then, I was hoping for a bit more out of it. And I'm still waiting for that aha moment for Metroid Prime 4. I really enjoyed what they're showing with the Switch 2 version of that game. But man, I need that second gear to go really, really hard.
Yeah, I mean, they may want to skip into 3rd or 4th gear at this point, because they really need to start ramping things up.
We're running out of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I wonder, could multiplayer be part of that? Could that be part of their, momentum boost power gain here? Like, could they? I think that would actually be huge. It could suck at the same time, but they actually announced it had a multiplayer component. That would, I think, actually would help put on the radar of a lot more people than it currently is.
Yeah, I didn't even think about adding a multiplayer to Metroid Prime 4. I mean, either in the way of like a co-op or like an online competitive mode, because I guess we haven't seen that since Federation Force. And again, like, that was kind of just like not a lot of people's favorites. So to see like a cooperative or, like I said, a competitive multiplayer for Metroid, I would love it. I would be sold day one and be like, I'm picking this up not just because of the multiplayer, but there's a single player with it too.
It wouldn't be the first online Metroid game, because we had Metroid, what was it called? Metroid Prime Hunters on the DS, which is still playable, by the way, not through official means, but there are ways to get it playable online still. And so yeah, it's not like it's unheard of for the series. They even had a multiplayer mode in Metroid Prime 2. So, you know, part of me wonders, like, maybe they just want to dedicate themselves to the single player, but I feel like it might be a missed opportunity in this case not to try and experiment with the multiplayer mode too, because it could be a big thing. Especially as right now there is kind of like, there aren't a whole lot in the way of like big online multiplayer games for the Switch 2 right now, and that could be a big one. So, yeah. Any other thoughts, real? Oh, how about though? How much do you think we're actually going to see of the upcoming year? I don't want to get into specific predictions yet, but you know the thing is, we actually don't know about a single, as far as I'm aware, a single first-party Switch 2 title due out past this year. And that's, I think, what they kind of need to dial in on here. I don't know if they'll show off a ton for it, but they need to tease something down the line.
Yeah, I will say, good thing you said specifically Switch 2, because there are Switch 1 games that are coming at some point early in 2026. We know about Tomodachi Life and we know about Rhythm Heaven, which I'm both very excited for. But it's, you know, one of those will definitely pop up here as well, because I almost think that one of those two is going to be a January game. But it's gonna be a weird one, because those have also not been followed up on since March.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, I think and those will strike, you know, well for those who are fans of those series. But I don't think those are gonna be. Well, I mean, I guess they don't need to be a system seller for Switch 2 because they're not. But that's more my point. Is they need to announce. I feel like they need to announce something that will be a system seller for Switch 2. You know, in 2026.
Andre, like, what do you think that game is? Because, like, if you look over the calendar, like, Dust Bloods is on the list, but I mean, that's Nintendo publishing it. It's from Soft, obviously.
Right.
But, like, I don't think that's a system seller, right? But I'm trying to wrap my head around, like, what IP that's going to be from Nintendo that we're looking forward to in 2026.
Hopefully not Kirby Air Riders if it gets delayed.
Oh, no. I was about to say, when we were starting listing of games, I have a weird gut feeling that Kirby Air Riders has a good chance of being delayed.
I don't disagree. I think there's a chance it could be too. But they were but I feel like if they thought that would happen, they wouldn't have given that release date initially, because it wasn't that long ago when they announced its release date. It's just we know so little about it, it's hard to envision what state it's even in at this point. But it is Sakurai, and he works 40-hour days. So... So like I said, I can't picture what that game is. Maybe is it going to be Splatoon Raiders? Because like, even if you look at Nintendo's calendar, like, it's not even on the list for anything on there. Not even you know what? I did forget about Splatoon Raiders. That actually, I keep forgetting about that game. That might be that could be our 2026 title at this point, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. That's not official though, right? They haven't said anything.
They haven't said anything.
They give no dates.
It exists. That's all we know.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, but even that, like that, I mean, Splatoon obviously a huge IP. I don't think, I mean, it's hard to say. This could be a huge game, but I feel like whatever the spin-off isn't going to be like that big system seller they need. But you know, maybe they don't need a system seller. Maybe it sells itself. They already have Mario Kart World out there. What other system seller do you need? And you know what? That's gonna actually bring us to our first prediction here. My first prediction, at least, so we can get into it. And feel free to predict whatever you want at this point, whether it's 2026 or this year. I predict, because one game I didn't mention here is games that are already out that they could focus on. And I do think Mario Kart World will get a big focus here. There have already been some possible teasers in the credits of upcoming characters for Mario Kart World. I won't spoil it for those who don't know. For those who do know, you already know. And I think there's a good chance that not only will they show that off here, they're going to announce a slate of new content in this game, including possibly, maybe not new tracks necessarily, but at the least new routes through the world. There's so much untapped potential there that they can dial into. Like they're only using, I forget the exact math, I think maybe like a sixth of the possible like knockout tour connections, so they can already do more, not even counting all the different combinations of those routes, and maybe like a quarter of the tracks. In any case, there's so much more they can do, and I think they're going to announce a big update to Mario Kart World, especially because, you know, for better, you know, or whether I agree with it or not, there's been kind of like some blowback to the game online, and this is a good chance to bring people back in, those hardcore fans, get them back in on that game, show them that there is a future to it, that there's going to be a continuous string of updates down the line, and I think this would be a great way of doing it. Announce new characters, new routes through the world, and maybe even like a new mode or something. I could easily see them adding new modes to take advantage of the world they have.
Yeah, Andre, so do you see them selling this as like the booster course pass in a way, or do you think they're just going to do like major update, here's a character, slew of tracks, new vehicles and whatnot? Or do you think it's just going to be like I said, like kind of like a booster course thing? You pay up front, there's going to be promises to new courses and stuff next year and the year after that, or is it just going to be one big expansion followed by one the following year or the year after that?
Oh man, right now, like, I feel like there's so much more they can do with a base game without having to add more tracks. I think it's a little bit too early to do a booster course type thing, but that's not to say that they couldn't charge for the extra characters if they add them, and they could probably easily get away with that for again, better or worse. But I also think at the same time they'll announce a lot of free content too. Again, by content I mean like rejiggering the current content already in the game. Like there's only 8 knockout tours. They can easily double that. And they shouldn't have charged for that. And I don't think they could charge for that because everyone needs access to it. So yeah, but I think hopefully I would love if they set up like a content plan to kind of to your point about like a booster course pass, like kind of show us like drive home the point that there will be more updates to the game coming down the line.
Because it does seem like the perfect game for like an evergreen game, right? Like I hope they keep this going for the next like 5 to 10 years or something like that. Especially like my hope for DLC for Mario Kart World is that they add more to the open world element. Because before Donkey Kong, like that was my main platformer. I was loving just driving around and collecting things. And now that I'm into the Donkey Kong mode, it's like I don't know if I want to go back and collect everything in Mario Kart because Donkey Kong is so good.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing off of the DLC, we mentioned briefly that there has been a little bit of a rocky road when it comes to the rollout of Mario Kart World so far. Do you think diving headfirst into a DLC bundle, something like a booster course, might give off the wrong impression for fans? Do you think it was already kind of iffy with the $80 price tag, then you go straight into another paid DLC? I think it'd be better to go with some kind of free updates that get you a little mileage, no pun intended, for what you got in the base game.
1000%, but counterpoint is Nintendo, and they do not give AF.
I don't think they sort of need to course correct the game a little bit, though, because it does feel like it's being heavily outplayed by the entire conversation being taken over by Donkey Kong.
Yeah, the thing is, that's a short-term thing, though. I mean, give it another couple of weeks, and people are going to move on from Donkey Kong already, or as well, too. But yeah, I do think it'd be better for Nintendo to address it sooner than later, and give people a way to, find some solution to the 3-lap problem, let people have an official way of playing them however they want, and I think that would do a lot to build back some goodwill. So, are there any specific predictions we have for Mario Kart World beyond that, or is that...
I give us 200cc.
Oh yeah, 200cc. I mean, I don't know how you do that in that game, right?
They did mirror mode. They did mirror mode. That seems like more of a gargantuan test than 200cc.
That's true, yeah. All right, I want another prediction. What else do we expect from this Direct? How about you, Zach? What do you got for us?
I am going to go with something bold with one game I'm really excited for, Kirby Air Riders.
All right.
I'm giving this a 10% chance of actually happening. I am excited for Kirby Air Riders no matter what we get. I love the original Kirby Air Ride on GameCube. So if you just give me more of that, more City Trial, I am more than happy. But I did clue in on there's something strange about this Kirby Air Riders game, specifically the name of it, Kirby Air Riders. It's very interesting that they could have gone with Kirby Air Ride 2. They could have gone with a Kirby Air Ride and a subtitle, but they went with Riders. And the only Riders we've seen so far are just 4 different Kirbys. We know that in the original Kirby Air Ride, there's DDD and Meta Knight, but I think beyond that, those are the only riders, quote unquote, in the game. So my thought is, at a minimum, we're going to see a big Kirby roster in this of riders, kind of like what we saw from Star Allies, of that giant roster of all the Kirby characters from the series. Or if we want to get really tinfoil hat, we know who's working on this game. It's Masahiro Sakurai. We know that first trailer was very Smash Bros. Looking in style. We know that Mario Kart World is focused entirely on Mario characters. They've said in many interviews they want to focus on Mario characters. They're not at this time interested in expanding into the Nintendo realm. Could Kirby Air Riders be the Nintendo kart that we are all hoping for? Could the other riders be Nintendo characters?
That's a bold assertion. That's a bold prediction.
Like
my
I
friend.
said, 10% of it happening.
Yeah.
It's Masahiro Sakurai, so anything could happen with that.
You had me in the first half. I don't see them going the Nintendo characters route, but I think that'll be definitely more of a Mario Kart thing. I could maybe possibly see a crossover character if there's some like previous relation. Nothing's jumping out at me offhand. But I do like your idea of like maybe there's more to that name. Like why just add an S onto the end, right? And my immediate thought, where I thought you were going initially, was like, could there be like a double dash component, right? Like there's 2 characters per card or something, or per star. Even though we've already only seen 1 per racer, that could have been maybe a fake out, right? Kind of like the initial Mario Kart tease way back in GameCube, where they showed single carts and it ended up being 2 per cart. I think it's unlikely as well, but I love the idea that there's more to that name than that we've all kind of been ignoring. Because yeah, it's just a little weird. But it's interesting, like it actually does change the emphasis. Like before, Kirby Air Ride almost made it seem more environmental, but you say riders, then it seems more character based. And maybe you are right. Maybe there's blowing up the roster. Maybe that's the idea. And there are a lot of deep cut Kirby characters they could go for that they haven't already. So I don't know, but I do think at the least they need to show off more of this game. And I want to see what it's about. We know literally nothing. And I want to know what it is. I just want to see City Trial. That's all I really care about. So show me that City Trial, baby.
Give me bigger, better City Trial. That's all I need.
I want Kirby, like I want the Fortnite of Kirby City Trial, right? I want to be 99 players, online, giant world. Okay, it doesn't need to be 99, but I do want more than 4. Like I want them to do something cool and new with that. And I really hope that that's a big focus of this direct. If it's not, then I expect it to possibly be delayed and they show up more of it later, either later this year or early next year. I don't think a delay is out of the cards entirely, especially in a year where you already have Mario Kart World. And that's going to be a big holiday title too, so...
Yeah, and Audrey, go back to your Mario Kart point. Like, when do you think the DLC, if it gets announced here at this direct for Mario Kart, when does that kind of slate in? If soon. Kirby gets delayed, right? Like, it's... Yeah, right? It's gotta be soon.
It's gotta be soon. Like, literally, if it's not like a shadow drop, it's out within a few weeks. I think they gotta get that out sooner. I mean, they don't have to, but I think it'd be better sooner than later. And I think it just makes sense. Like, they have momentum right now. It can help change the conversation back to the positive spectrum for Mario Kart. And yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, so much of the content they can change is already in the game. So it wouldn't be, it's not like it's a huge ask anyway. So, all right, I want a new prediction now. Don, how about you? What do you got for us?
I think we're getting a new slate of Nintendo Switch 2 editions.
Ooh.
That's a good call. Yeah, any predictions, specific predictions?
I think Pikmin 4 is one of them.
Oh, that's a good call.
Definitely.
What are they adding? What are they adding here?
So definitely mouse controls.
Yes!
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if they do like another post-adventure type of thing like they did with Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I wouldn't be fully against that. But I think first and foremost, that game already looks beautiful. You just do a very straight-up upgrade to make it better looking, to make it play better, and you already have a fantastic version of that game. But I do think there might be more to it in some regards. Also, make the 1v1 mode online. That will be nice.
That'd be good, yeah. If they add an Olimar Shipwreck Tale 2, I'm so there. That was my favorite part of the game. If they expand that to basically be its own full adventure, that would be amazing. So if they add like some kind of spin-off like that, that could really help get a lot of people excited.
There's another one. I don't think it would necessarily be here, maybe in September during the Mario anniversary. But I also do think they need to do this. They do need to do Mario Maker 2.
I think that's an easy one. Especially after Mario Paint, and how well the mouse works in that. Yeah. You can add mouse controls to it, add some new features. That's an easy way of giving new life to that game, which I think is a game people have forgotten about by now.
Yeah, that's why they shouldn't forget it, because, I mean, they did add it to Game Boy Garage, which is still, I enjoy that game, but also add that feature set to Mario Maker.
If they add a Mario Wonder theme, that could be huge, where you can like customize your own Wonder Flowers. Like when you activate it, it changes whatever effects you apply to it. That could be amazing. Cool. Exact. Like yeah, you can almost think of it as like how they have those built-in effects already you can trigger. Like just take that to the next level, right? Like you make it so that it's actually changing the gameplay, not just a visual style, and that could be so much fun.
Yeah,
the also similar to the night theme. Sorry. Oh.
I can also see another world where they announce a port of a Switch 1 game to a Switch for a game that's going to Switch 1 that's then also getting a Switch 2 edition. I see like the games that are coming next year, for example, with Tomodachi Life. I think you can add some stuff more there to make mouse controls happen or something.
Sure.
Or in another way, maybe the thing we got during that April 2nd Direct, where they showed randomly Yoshi's Woolly World. Maybe that was a thing all along.
That was just teased in the background, right? Like that was not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Kind of like how they accidentally showed all those upcoming NSO games seemingly in the blurred background that people figured out months after it happened. That's crazy.
Yeah, maybe we'll see those as well. Who knows, right?
Honestly, yeah, thinking more and more, like more Switch 2 editions makes so much more sense. It makes so much sense. It's such an easy, relatively easy way for them to expand the roster. I just hope they do it better than what they just did with Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV, which is the weirdest, laziest way they could have gone about that content.
Why did they make it a CD compilation menu?
Yeah, it's so weird, right? Yeah, it was completely bizarre. In any case, Nick, what you got for us? What's your prediction?
So my prediction is I don't think that we're going to get too much more information on Drag X Drive here at this Direct. Even though it comes out in a few weeks, we know the price, we know the release date, it's $20. We know the game already, and I don't think Nintendo's really hiding anything else with this, which is unfortunate because I want to try it out. For $20, maybe I'll pick it up on day one, but I don't think there's really anything else to show. Like, the only time I think we'll see it at this Direct is at the very end when they're going through the games, like the shizzle wheel or whatever, before the one last thing, and it's like, oh, here's the Drag X Drive and a date. And then maybe same thing with like Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I think it might be shown at the very end because I don't think there's so much to like show with the game. Maybe like they'll do a trailer before it comes out like a week or two, but like I don't think there's really too much left for that game either.
I know it's completely unrelated, but that reminds me something.
What?
So the Switch Online playtest is happening again.
Oh yeah.
Are they actually going to announce the game like actually proper with a name during this Direct? Because it seems weird to suddenly do another playtest for that game again almost a year later.
Yeah, do we know if this one has a similar like NDA type thing as the first game, where it's like don't show anything?
Yeah, because it's already live. Yeah, so yeah.
Oh, the demo's already live?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah, then probably not. I would suspect that that any intention of showing it soon, there wouldn't be that limit on the demo, or the demo have launched after the Direct. I expect they don't touch it at all. They'll mention it. Like I mean, have they changed anything, Don? Have you looked at anything in the new version?
I'm not looked. I'm not on the NDA because it's not available in my country, but I haven't looked at it either.
The fact I haven't heard anything about it, I think says that, I don't know, maybe they haven't changed anything. Maybe they have. I have no idea. So
I mean, it now supports Switch 2. That's the major difference.
Oh, okay.
I think Nintendo signed an NDA internally too. They can't show it or talk about it either. Just one post. They're not going to talk about it in the Direct or anything.
It's probably just like one guy making the whole thing. He's like just stealthily putting it out by himself. Nintendo doesn't even know what's going on with the thing, you know?
I mean, they should talk about more NSO stuff, considering they're getting rid of the game vouchers.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, some kind of new program to replace it would be nice. Like, because they also got rid of, what was it, Platinum Points as well, right?
The golden coins.
Golden Points, yeah.
Yeah.
So there is, like, room for a replacement of some kind there, or some kind of new system, I suppose.
Yeah, or just a new perk.
New perk, right. Yeah. Sorry, Nick. What was your original prediction you were talking about?
Like I said, like Drag X Drive, I don't think we're going to really get much here.
That
and Kirby, because like Kirby, I think maybe a trailer a week or two before it comes out, but I don't think there's really much left to show, right? Like they're going to be like remixes of some older levels from the previous game, but I think we're thinking there might be like a bigger thing, but I don't think there is Kirby, unfortunately.
I mean, I think to an extent, does that apply to Age of Imprisonment as well? Like, is there? I mean, I'm sure there's more they could show, but at the same time, it's a Warriors game. You basically know what you're getting, right? I guess they could show off more characters and stuff, but
I mean, they haven't shown much of Age of Imprisonment to begin with. Like, they have been extremely quiet since that trailer. Like, we only got the developer's voice. There's a lot of room to talk about that stuff.
Yeah, I think the big thing with Age of Imprisonment is like they're going to show how well it runs on Switch 2. Obviously, it's not coming out for Switch 1, but like even booting up some of the older Warriors games on the Switch 2, they run so well now. So I think they're going to put a big emphasis on that when they're showing the game. They're like, oh, look how many more enemies we can get going on with the power of the Switch 2.
Right. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And also how many more frames how many more frames of frame rate we can fit into this game now. All right, I want to go back to a prior prediction. When we were talking about Mario Maker 2 Switch 2 Edition, I think that actually may be part of a larger segment involving Mario's 40th anniversary, because that is this year. I believe with maybe is it October, September being like the official month of it. September, yeah. And I think they actually want to get ahead of that. Like, I don't think they want to announce everything in the last minute. Maybe they will. In a September Direct, but I think there's probably more to this. I think that they announced that a Mario Maker 2 Switch 2 Edition, along with a remaster of Mario Galaxy 2 or something to that effect. That will also be a big game coming out in September. And that's my prediction, along with maybe a few other a few other things they could tease about the future. Like, I don't think we're getting Mario Movie 2 news here, but they may talk about, or rather, trailers here, but they may talk about something adjacent to it, so...
I don't want to say it. Are they going to do a Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition?
Oh, I didn't even think about Wonder Switch 2.
Yeah, that didn't cross my mind. They could, like, adding a new world or something?
Yeah, because here's the thing. So, obviously, the first trailer of Switch 2, they showed Mario Kart as the first game. At the end, where they showcase backwards compatibility, they showcased Mario Wonder.
Yeah, I like the idea. Sure.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities, but I'm also like, I would like Mario Maker 2, though.
It is one of the biggest games of recent memory that hasn't gotten a Switch 2 edition, so it feels like it's ripe for one. You know, when they showed off the list of games that got 2 editions, it felt like that was a glaring omission.
Yeah, it really is. Like the newest Mario game, essentially, and it has nothing for Switch 2 yet. So,
that's fair, yeah.
But I mean, I guess the question is then, is it going to be a proper Switch 2 edition, or will it just be another free update?
For Wonder,
really.
I say a free update for Wonder, especially if we think that Super Mario Maker 2 is going to be a Switch 2 edition. I feel like they're probably going to try to tack on something to that. Or maybe they tack on like the Wonder seat or like the Wonder style to that game.
Right.
Maybe they sell that for an extra $20, right?
Yeah, maybe they just add game share for Wonder 2 and made it more visually interesting on Switch 2. That's the two major upgrades they do and call it a day.
Yeah.
It's very well possible.
We'll see. All right, who's got another prediction for us?
Zach, you got one?
I was gonna say on the topic of that Mario Maker, I guess in the whole of Mario, one of my predictions was that other than maybe Mario Kart DLC, we are going to see a big lack of Mario in this Direct because of that 40th anniversary coming up. I think anything big with Mario, they might save for that time period in September to do a big kind of blowout Direct that goes into everything from games to things with the Nintendo world to any other kind of celebration that they might have, to the movie, to everything else. So I think they're going to save it for there. For Mario Maker specifically, I definitely think that we could get Mario Maker 2 Switch 2 edition, or even possibly a Mario Maker 3. Mario Maker fits with the anniversary. I believe Mario Maker was for the 30th anniversary of Mario. I think that's when the original Mario Maker came out, so it would definitely add up to have something Mario Maker for the 40th anniversary. I would love to have, like in the original Mario Maker, have the amiibo costumes back for the original Mario. We could get something like that, even just for the Mario characters. That would be so nice, because those were one of my favorite parts of the original Mario Maker, was just swapping in and seeing the levels people made specifically around those characters. People made Zelda levels, people made Pokemon levels to fit all the amiibo. So I would love to see something like that.
Do you ever play my Zelda levels in Mario Maker 1?
I did. I absolutely did.
Heck yeah. I had so much fun making those. Like, the amiibo were a huge part of the original game for me, and losing them in the sequel almost killed the game for me. Not by itself, but it was an element of it. So if they brought those back for either a Switch 2 edition or a full-on Mario Maker 3, that would be incredible. Also, I personally would love that they're going full sequel route. I mean, I would love that they just went 3D too. Like, make a Mario Maker 3D. There's already that fan-made version that already showed off how elegant it can possibly be in 3D, and I'm sure Nintendo will polish that idea even further. But yeah, I hope that there is a future there for Mario Maker, especially as we're about at the 10-year anniversary of the first game too, I believe, which came out in 2015. So yeah, good timing for everything. All right, any more game predictions, like new game predictions?
I got one that just came to my mind.
All right.
The one that just came to my mind was when we were talking before, trying to figure out what that game is for next year for Switch 2.
There has to be something.
There has to be something, right? My idea is, why not tease Animal Crossing right now, right? Because they dropped, when the DLC for Animal Crossing dropped, they stopped supporting that game shortly after. Right. And that's the crazy thing. Like, Animal Crossing was at such a high when it first came out on Switch 1. So I really think they can tease a new Animal Crossing for next year. Get not just like the casual people in, but also the hardcore people that want a new Animal Crossing or a new cozy game to be played. Something to look forward to. I think Animal Crossing is a big hook for that.
I might be conflating
Yeah.
my own hopes with realistic expectations, but they need to go full on like online to this one. Like I want it to be like a permanent online world where you can actually like live alongside your friends in a village and you share the same living space. And I realize that might limit, at where and how you play it because you need an online connection. But I'm sure they can come up with some kind of like spin-off idea where when you are on the go, you can still play the game but in a slightly different way. Like for instance, they could bring back the idea of the GBA island from the original GameCube version, where maybe when you don't have access to an internet connection, you go to your vacation home where you can do whatever you want with it, whether you're online or off. But I really need them to really explore online more than they have. It's crazy to me that this series has been online in every installment besides the first one, and it still feels like they've barely ever embraced it, And I would love it they went back. They went back, or rather, really embrace the idea of it being truly a communication type game as the first game was.
I that's why I sort of feel that it sort of dropped off from 3DS, because with the 3DS, like you would exchange houses from your friends between one another, and it would probably let a gigantic plaza where you can just constantly see people's designs and interact with them. Of course, most of that went for Street Pass and a little bit for Spot Pass, but it felt like such a huge part of that game that it felt sort of weird going from that to Horizons, where yes, the island was wider, yes, there was a lot more to do, but also it lost some of the charm there a little bit.
Yeah.
Even connecting with your friends online was a bit of a hassle, because when we were playing at a bit.
If you have 7 friends over, it takes freaking forever.
It takes maybe 30 seconds or so. But that's the thing. Like if we were all playing per person, you would come in, and we would have to see the loading screen, and then Dom would come in, and then Zach would come in. Oh, and then someone's leave. It would take forever to get everyone on.
Which is another reason for it to be server based, right? Like that's another reason for it, because I can't go through that again. It is such a pain in the butt.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think they would. Yeah, so you go ahead first.
I was gonna say, playing off that, I think this is the game that's really going to show how serious Nintendo is about their online strategy. They've been making a big deal about their social efforts and their online connection with the Switch 2. I think this is the game that's going to really show how far they're willing to push that. And if they take it to a server-based system, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that.
Probably not. They're probably not.
Here's straight up why. Because they want you to play this in handheld mode on the go in a train. Like, they're not going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I propose that they could maybe offer an alternative way of accessing it, or accessing similar content. But you're probably right that they don't want to prevent you from playing the main game wherever you may be. But.
Yeah. Alternatively, I do think there needs to be a more elegant system of inviting people to your island, not having it interrupt entirely the flow of the game. But how you could best manage that, I don't know.
Here's how they can handle it. They can make it so that you can leave your gates open when you're playing at home, right? Or not even playing, but just unless you're out on the go, you can play it however you can play. You can access your town. Other people can access your town wherever. But if you need to go somewhere where you won't have Wi-Fi, you can close your gates. Your town then goes into offline mode, and that's when you can play it, wherever you are. And maybe that's a little too complicated, but still, I don't know. I feel it would annoy me if the handheld aspect of the Switch 2 is what holds back Animal Crossing for a 5th generation. That would make me so annoyed.
No, I think what more annoyed me about New Horizons, and maybe there's another discussion to go into this, and we'll carry on after this.
Yeah.
I will say that going from New Leaf to Horizons, I do think that some of the charm was lost, because it had a lot of cool crossover items with Nintendo characters, and it felt like a little piece of an extension of you, and some of that felt lost in the process to Horizons.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think also they need to establish that. I hope it's more of it has more of a life to it than the previous game did, where it felt like after a year, like they just ran out of content. Like there was no more novel events happening until like the DLC, finally hit. And I want them to make it feel like even more alive than they did. Because a year isn't enough for Animal Crossing. Like, arguably it starts getting boring after a few months for a lot of people. And I really hope they find a way to keep it livened up as you play it for however long it may be. So,
it's elevated because of the pandemic.
To both of your guys' points, like
yeah.
I miss the mini games from the 3DS version. Like I remember when I was playing like New Horizon on the Switch with my friends, and we were just making up games.
Yeah.
Because like once we were done doing all of our activities, like grabbing the fruit and selling it and just walking around the island, I was like, all right, what do we do? We just sitting here and talk. It's like I wish there was something a little bit more that we can do and interact with each other.
Captain's Island was such a good time with doing like little mini games and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if there were actual games you could play in that world. In any case, moving on to a different game. Do we have any other thoughts on other new games that get announced here?
I mean, it needs surprises. That's the major thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like, I feel we sort of know where this is going and where the majority of the games are going. Like, they have the majority of the lineup, even if we don't know the dates, they've sort of have in stone. How much are they really going to hit on 2026? Like, I expect the 2 Switch 1 games to be there because I'm excited for them and I want them to be there, but also, God, say something about them.
See, I'm not even sure. I don't know if they will. I think they could stay on those a little bit longer because, they're still half a year away at a minimum.
Yeah.
So I think they may hold off on those, but I do hope that there is more in 2026.
Yeah.
Because again, we want those carrots. Nintendo wants those carrots to keep people invested in what's happening next.
Almost feel like the 2026 stuff will be mostly like the couple of last things or the one more thing where they showcase something new.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to talk about Splatoon Raiders at all? Is my major concern. It's like, yeah, you announced it, you just dropped it. You're not going to say anything else, are you?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be nice. But again, it could be one of those things where maybe it's so far off that it's just not worth discussing at this point.
Yeah.
But then again,
yeah, it's a weird period since that Switch 2 presentation. It sort of feels hard to manage expectations where there haven't been much any.
Well, speaking of which, I'm going to go out there with my prediction then, because I think Nintendo has been to some degree they've been actually bringing back like a lot of those old IP. Talking about the games you were just mentioning, along with even recently DK Bonanza. It's weird to think of DK as like kind of like an older series, but not only is it's been largely neglected outside of spin-offs recently. And they finally brought it back and, to big success seemingly. So I think another game that could be ripe for that is Star Fox. You announced Star Fox as a 2026 title online with a different gameplay angle. Like not just an exclusive focus on linear missions, but maybe more of a broader, like almost Crimson Skies type open air element to it. And I think that could be, especially if it's a multiplayer game as well. I could see something like that happening. And also, didn't we have, I don't know if this is directly related, we still haven't seen what that Bandai Namco game is, right? That they said they were developing. Could that be a new Star Fox, maybe?
My theory is like Star Fox, like my heart dropped when you said that, Andre, because I'm gonna go nuts if they announce a Star Fox. Zach and I were talking about this last night. He was like,
you said the magic word for Nick.
Yeah. He was like, what's your dream direct? And it doesn't have to make sense. I'm like, oh, new Star Fox, obviously. But yeah, like, I mean, it's been 10 years since the last one, Star Fox Zero. Nintendo loves saying that, like, oh, it's been this so long since our last game and we're bringing this back. But the thing is also, like, if you look at the slate of GameCube games for NSO, there's no Star Fox on there. There's no Avenger, there's no Assault. And I'm like, that's just a little odd. Like, you figure they would at least want some Star Fox there. Like, Star Fox 64, I'm pretty sure was day one for N64 NSO. They obviously brought Star Fox 2 to NSO, and that only came out on the original, Super Nintendo Mini or Classic. So, like,
yes.
Like, Star Fox has been somewhat in their vision, but I think that's the thing you need to bring back and kind of just overhaul and give it to like a confident like developer. I think that's been Star Fox's biggest issue. They're jumping around to so many different developers that no one knows what to do with Star Fox.
No one knows what Star Fox really is, exactly. Yeah. And which is actually may work to their benefit because this is a good chance for them to kind of like reimagine it again, but in a way that actually fully makes sense. Like, I mean, that's my hope. Like, it's easy to say, hard to do, of course, right? But I don't think Star Fox is dead. Like, it's been a while, but we've had gaps in the series before, and I think I just get the feel that Nintendo does care about Star Fox, and the Switch 2 seems like a good chance, a good opportunity to try it again and see if they can finally deliver on a game that really kind of reaches a bigger critical mass than they have, that they haven't reached since Star Fox 64.
And something with Star Fox and how quirky Nintendo likes to be with their gimmicks. I could see like the new Star Fox game having something with game chat, where like when you're talking to your friends and maybe like it opens up for it pops up for a second, then it closes. Like, yeah, that'd be such like a Nintendo thing to do.
That'd be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And they already have the text, the voice to text transcription feature, right? Make that part of the game.
That'd be so goofy.
Like but they haven't really had a true co-op Star Fox game before. That could be a big part of it, rather than being competitive, though I like that as well. Give it, make it so you can actually, all four people can control the wingman. Like, you are Team Star Fox. That's it. That'll be huge, I think.
And I think I've been saying this for a while. I think Nintendo is missing some cooperative type of game, even on Switch 1, because like when Zach and I are playing games, I'm like, oh, I want to play something that we're not playing directly against each other, or we're not playing like PvP. Like I would love to just play as a group together and just focus on one thing. And like I said, I think that's what Nintendo's been kind of missing, because even when we play Splatoon, Zach, you and I, we're like, oh, we're getting destroyed by the sweats tonight. Like I don't think I can handle this, because and then we'll go into Salmon Run, and sometimes Salmon Run will like even like trip us up because it is kind of hard. But Star Fox going co-op, I think, is the way to go for the series.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. All right, is there any chance to see a new 3D Mario here? We've been talking about Mario's 40th. Any chance of a new 3D Mario?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, to be honest, they also need to like follow up on a bunch of third-party games as well, which is also going to be a part of that direct, I feel.
Yeah. For sure. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's going to be, I think, absolutely a huge focus on third-party games here. Yeah. Possibly to the detriment of first-party announcement. Like, that's my expectation. We're going to see so much third-party here, I think, that there may not be a lot of room left for first-party stuff.
I mean, they blew up a lot with the stuff they had during that second half of that Switch 2 presentation. Like, Final Fantasy VII Remake needs a date. I think it got a date on Xbox, but it still hasn't a date on Switch 2.
Elden Ring doesn't have a date.
Yeah, I was about to say Elden Ring. Tarnished Edition needs to have a date. There's a bunch of different stuff that they have announced, but haven't really followed up on.
Right.
And they sort of need a date somewhere in the second half of 2025. It has been, in the grand scheme of things, extremely quiet when it comes to that sort of announcement.
And I'm okay if there is a lot of third-party games here. My biggest hope is that these third-party games are actually on the cartridges, right? Because, like, I think Nintendo even put out a statement or something where they're like, wait, like, the sales for third-party games weren't that high. I'm like, well, you look at them, all of them but Cyberpunk were, like, game key cards. Like, I was going to pick up some Sega games, but, like, they're all game key cards. So I'm hoping that Elden Ring and Final Fantasy, what other big AAA games or third-party games are here, are all on the cards.
Sonic Racing, they already announced that they reversed course and now going to include the entire game on the game card for Switch 2.
I think they saw the sales of like how Cyberpunk did relative to all the other games. We're like, well, we're not making that mistake again. Let's do what Cyberpunk did, right? And not that that's solely the sole reason for that game succeeding, but I think it was part of it. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll see more of that moving forward and less game key cards or game card keys, whatever they are.
Game key cards, yeah.
Any other predictions?
Any NSO do you guys think we're going to see here? Like any updates or anything? Are we going to get any more GameCube games?
I said it a bit earlier, but they kind of have to. Like, it feels like with them taking stuff away, I feel that they sort of need to focus on what's ahead for Nintendo Switch Online. Because, like, GameCube got people back, but it's also afterwards sort of derailed it with removing golden points and then now taking away the game vouchers. Like, they need to have something, like, throw a few extra games this month on NSO. It really doesn't hurt you in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, the Mario Paint just dropping the other day was just completely random. I'm like, okay, this is awesome, and I love how it's supported with mouse features on Switch 1 and not just Switch 2 with the Joy-Con 2. But yeah, I'm hoping that they keep like a steady cadence of GameCube games. I hope there's like a shadow drop of something that's on that list, because so far we had Switch 2 came out, we had 3 GameCube games, we had Strikers the following month. I hope we get something in August, being like, or just right around this direct.
I also want to point out that they haven't updated all of their apps yet to Nintendo Classics like they said they would.
I checked that the other night, Don. I was like, is Don right about this? And I looked like, why is it still like the console? It doesn't
How hard can it be? Goodness.
Like for example, do something weird. Add Game Boy camera to Game Boy NSO. Why not?
The Game Boy camera already works on the Switch too. Sorry, what's that?
I was saying exactly what you said. You can actually use a real Game Boy camera.
Yep.
But you can also use the Switch 2 camera. Just emulate it. It's fine. Do something weird with it, Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Yeah. I love that idea. Yeah, we've seen, I think Mario Paint, in a sense, opens the floodgates to more of these weirder games now. Like, now you could bring Mario artists now to NSO. They had Japanese exclusive for their disk drive 64 thing. There's other games like that too. There's Mario and Wario on the Super NES that use the mouse. It never came out in the US. Add that now that we know the mouse works there. And then why not with a camera, Game Boy camera, as you mentioned, which you can even add in that functionality for. Weren't there other games too that took advantage of it through? Perfect Dark almost did, but they bailed on that one. Did there other games? Maybe not. I might be.
No, I don't think so.
Speaking of other games, you can get Hey You Pikachu on there because you have the built-in microphone.
Oh, there we go. That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, exactly. So that would be great. I would love to announce more of that. And although it may be a little too far out for GameCube, I suspect that Luigi's Mansion will be this year's October title for the Halloween season. So
I hope so.
I mean, they have already established that they can make updates specifically for Switch 2. Like, it's not weird or out of outrageous to do, you know?
Yeah. Actually, here's a far out prediction. It's probably too early. Could there be a new Luigi's Mansion coming? And it's been years since Battle League from NST. So, or not NST, Next Level Games.
Next Level, yeah.
So yeah, they're working on something, obviously. Could it possibly be a new Luigi's Mansion again?
I can see Next Level working on a new Luigi's Mansion after Strikers, because I mean the content for Strikers was relatively short, right? Like even when it launched with the base roster, there was no characters there, and then they had a couple updates. So like, what have they been working on all this time? I think a sequel to Luigi's Mansion 3 is definitely in the works from them.
Yeah.
Especially if they want to show off how pretty the graphics can be for the Switch 2. Because Luigi's Mansion 3 for Switch 1 is one of the best looking games on there. So if they really want to flex their muscles a little bit with this new console, that could be the perfect avenue.
That's it. They're going to do Luigi's Mansion free Nintendo Switch 2 edition.
That would be... Yeah. I don't think we need it. All right. Any other predictions, guys, that we haven't touched on yet?
I think we covered most of it, right? Like, I feel like this Direct is mostly going to be like cleanup for Nintendo, right? Because if you look at their calendar, there's just so many games that we know of that we don't have release dates for. Like, again, Metroid, we need a release date. Kirby, we need a release date. Age of Imprisonment, we need a release date.
Yeah, it's third party too, you know? Like, there's a bunch of games, once again, that they announced during that April 2nd Direct that they simply haven't followed up on.
Yeah. I know. We still know a lot about the Switch 2 in terms of, like, game releases without actually knowing a whole lot about all of them, and so there's a lot they can explore there, and it does make me wonder like how much more new will they actually announce. But there usually are always still like a handful of surprises, you know, whether or not it ends up being Star Fox. But I really do hope we do end up seeing whatever the heck that Bandai Namco game is, because we've known about for, you know, I think at least a couple of years at this point without knowing what it actually represented or what it is.
It has been a couple of years. If it's not Star Fox, just give me Kid Icarus, either a port of Uprising or a brand new one. I'll take either or.
Do we know? Actually, hold on. Is there any chance it was Kirby Air Riders? Do we know Sakurai's worked with them before?
Do we know who is working on Kirby Air Riders? Like what?
I don't think we do.
No, they only showed Sakurai as the director and not the actual studio that is working on it.
The thing is, the description for the original game from Bandai Namco, to my memory, did not match what you would expect of Kirby Air Riders. But it's possible it was either vague enough that it does somehow fit, or that Kirby Air Riders has a different bend to it than we fully know at this point, right? So
yeah.
From that description, I remember it saying like an action game,
adventure.
maybe an action adventure game. So unless Kirby Air Riders is now like an action adventure game,
I mean, I could maybe see it like if they go like open world where there's like missions and stuff now, like, you know, like maybe City Trial like is just a far broader concept now, where like this is kind of like Mario Kart World, but even more tied into the story mode. Maybe, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But going back to the developer, like knowing Nintendo, they're not going to tell us like the week before or like the week after. They're like, oh, here it is. Who made the game?
We only just now found out the voice acting for Mario Kart World somehow, despite that game being out for a couple of months. It's crazy. I don't get why they do it that way, but in any case. All right. Well, I think we've covered pretty much everything. So, any final thoughts or what's your final hype levels at for this Direct right now? Let's start with you, Zach. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling about a 7. Like we said in our predictions, a lot of things are going to be just fleshing out dates and fleshing out details for things we already know. It could move up to a 8 if we do get that X factor, something new like a Star Fox or some kind of wrinkle or a tease of what we get next year. But right now, I think pretty calm at a 7. Always excited for a Direct, but nothing too crazy right now.
Yeah. Dawn?
Yeah, 7.5-ish, 7.5. Like I'm enjoying what I'm thinking about, but also I have the feeling that I have the potential of being extremely let down by this. But even then, if it's going to be the stuff that we already know, I'm sort of still excited. Like I want to know about Air Riders. I want to know about if they're going to do anything for the Mario anniversary. There's a lot of factors here that can make me very happy. But they need to come together in a way that can make me happy and not drag on for hours and hours on end.
Not drag X Drive on for hours and hours?
You know it.
How about you, Nick?
I think I'm like an 8. Like I'm so off the hype of the Switch 2, right? Like I'm so enjoying Mario Kart. I'm going through Donkey Kong 100%ing it. So like I have my time kind of filled. So like I just need like dates for these games. Like where is Air Riders? When's that coming out? Age of Imprisonment, is that actually coming out this winter or is that coming out next year? Are they going to do a weird thing with that? And then yeah, more info on Metroid Prime 4. But yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with the Switch 2 right now. So I don't need a direct anytime soon, but if one just pops off, like I'm excited for it. So
maybe that's partly why I feel so indifferent to this right now. Like I would say my hype's at a 5. Like I'm not really expecting anything, and my concern is that they just focus so much on what we already know. Even though, again, there are some large mysteries there, like Kirby Air Riders, which I'm really excited for. But like overall, I'm just not feeling the hype right now. Maybe that'll change as we get closer. And especially, I mean, and honestly, I'm happy being here because that means I'll be unlikely to be disappointed by the direct, and it can only hopefully impress me. So I hope I leave the direct much more hyped than I am entering it, which is totally fine.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest mystery is like what's coming up next year, and I hope that they address that to some degree here at least, and don't hold everything for the September or fall direct. So
yeah, Nintendo has
really
been pretty
depends.
good at like announcing a game and then it's out like it feels like a few days afterwards, especially with like Donkey Kong and Mario Kart. It's like, oh, we just found out about that game like a week ago. But yeah, they really need to show us something for next year for Switch 2.
And again, let's be fair. Let's be fair. It's always been 4 months since actual info directly from them in this sort of style. Like it feels sort of time for them to show up.
Is there? We need to touch on this. I wonder if there's any chance we see some kind of Zelda thing. We've discussed it before, so I won't go too in deep. Obviously, it's extremely unlikely we see the next true mainline game anytime soon, but there's still opportunity there for either a spin-off or a remake, like the much hyped / rumored / discussed Ocarina of Time remake, right? Like a full-on reimagining of that game, and that would be amazing. Any chance of something like that happening here?
I think the Zelda game you're looking at is Age of Imprisonment. Like, I hate to say it, like, even if you're not excited for it, like, I feel like that's the thing. Especially since we got, Echoes of Wisdom last year? Yeah. Like, Zelda's still kind of fresh if you think about it. And there was Switch 2 versions or updates for those games, right? So, at least Echoes of Wisdom, I believe. But yeah, I don't see any other Zelda news coming up anytime soon, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think you're right. But here's hoping. All right.
I would love an Ocarina of Time.
I want it now. I'm usually opposed to remakes, but I feel like a lot of them are necessary. But for whatever reason, I think this is like one of the handful of games that I think could strike in the same vein as like the Final Fantasy VII remake, where you can like stay true to it while also like doing some really cool new stuff with it, right? That's what I kind of wanted to happen.
Sure. Yeah.
But who knows? In any case, that's gonna be it for us here, everyone. So before you tune out, though, let's let everyone tell you where you can follow them at if you want to hear more from them. Let's start off with Zach here. Zach, where can people follow you at?
Yeah, you guys can find me on X or Twitter, or whatever you want to call it. I'm at Zach Volpicelli, ZACHVOLPICELLI. So you can follow me there for gaming takes and random other entertainment takes.
Perfect. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, you can follow me on my personal YouTube channel. That's Steftendo, STEFTENDO. Go check it out.
And how about you, Don?
You can follow me on Twitch, YouTube, everywhere at Nintendo. That's NANTN. TNDAAN.
Long day, huh?
Yeah, it's been a long day.
All right, on that, everyone, thanks for watching. You can find links to all that in the description below, and we'll catch you later, hopefully for this Nintendo Direct that should be happening soon, unless it doesn't, and we all have egg on our faces right now. So with that, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll catch you later. Bye.
Have a good one.